Petrol. In a mechanized world, ownership of this fuel means almost unlimited wealth for men and nations to spend, for good or evil. And money means power, the strength to cast something new from the raw material of a nation and its people. It means the opportunity to change ancient patterns in a society and replace them with something more in keeping with the pace of a modern world. Oil, a God-given gift, is the key to many things, for it unlocks the chains of poverty which have kept many a nation held fast for centuries. Such a nation is Iran. Ever since the ancient Persian Empire was put to the sword by Alexander the Great, this country has waited for the chance to re-emerge as a power in the world. For 2,000 years, the sands of the desert had been burying the glories of the past. But under the sand was oil, and industrial revolutions, thousands of miles from these shores, made Persia, now Iran, important again. Iran's own revolution came late. Only slowly has it begun to turn from the past to the future. But the process is accelerating. Iran is changing itself, enriching itself, and assuming a new and crucial strength. In this issue, Echo looks into the rebirth of a nation, Iran. Tehran, a waterhole when Persia was mighty, and now the capital of the new Iran. Like capital cities everywhere, Tehran is the showpiece of the nation it represents. The tempo here is much the same as in any other city. The traffic just as thick. The working population equally bound by office hours and the clock. The miniskirt is here, with all its consequences. But life doesn't move as rapidly through the whole country as it does in Tehran. There's still room and a need for more traditional ways. Persian carpets are still a lifetime occupation for their makers. Iran had relied on the old and the traditional far too long. While it concentrated on ancient crafts, modern invention passed it by. The hereditary skills are still practiced and are still important in their way, but at last Iran recognizes that the world has changed, that it must harness itself to less ornamental but more profitable production. The sheer pace and the size of Iran's overdue industrial revolution can be measured day by day in the rapidly expanding factory estates now thrusting upward in the desert. The cost involved is huge. Iran's new 5-year plan foresees the spending of $35,000 million on industrial development, and all but 5,000 millions will come from Iran's own resources, mainly oil and natural gas. Natural gas is Iran's newest discovery. Much of it is piped to Iran's fuel-hungry northern neighbor, the Soviet Union. In a massive reciprocal deal signed in 1966, natural gas paid for this Soviet-built steelworks near Isfahan, now capable of producing 700,000 tons of steel a year. And Iran is also about to become a major source of copper. Estimated reserves of over 300 million tons have recently been located. Iran's copper revenue may outstrip even the annual $2,500 million the country now earns from oil. Iran's potential wealth is enormous, but who will benefit from it? The answer lies with its king, the Shah.
Évidemment, c'est un pays capitaliste.
We have a capitalist system here, if you accept that what is not communist is capitalist. On the other hand, all wealth has been nationalized. All natural resources, such as the forests, the land, the water, the steel and the oil industries. Furthermore, all major industrial companies have been, let's say, advised to open their accounts to the public, which will soon own 49% of them all.
La plupart iront jusqu'à 49%.
When Iran got down to the job of transforming itself into an industrial nation, it was doing more than spend its money wisely. It was following the long-term precepts of the Shah, who is determined to make the maximum use of Iran's natural good fortune while it lasts. He's a man in a hurry, attempting to bridge the gulf of centuries in only a few decades. Iran is also tying its industrial expansion program to massive social advancement. 10 years of this aggressive economic policy has already raised the average Iranian worker's income from $220 a year to $550. By the end of its new 5-year plan, during which a further 2 million jobs will have been created, it's estimated the average income will rise to $950. And it's no pipe dream. Industrial output during the last 5-year period grew by over 11% a year, and in 1972 alone was over 14%. And under a fair capital system like Iran's, the more people produce, the more they earn. Iran's natural wealth enables it to buy a wide range of foreign expertise and investment in its economy. And in accordance with its neutral position, it does deals regardless of politics. Car factories and a diesel engine plant have been built in cooperation with Britain. West Germany has installed an aluminium smelting complex. A petrochemical plant is operating in co-production with a Japanese firm. There's a Swedish ball bearing factory and a Czech machine tools industry. And all have been made possible through a policy of exchanging oil and gas for credit and technical help. Light industries have been established in numerous centers away from the principal towns. Consequently, desert areas and simple people have been transformed. 10 years ago, the hand plow was a sophisticated implement. Today, this place resembles Detroit. But Iran and its Shah are concerned not only to make this nation economically strong. There is, running through the whole program of modernization, a strong thread of social advancement, the Shah's own White Revolution, now 10 years old. Its promise was nothing less than a breakdown of an ancient feudal society and its replacement with a new idea of social justice and equal opportunity. And the Shah is delivering that promise. And along with it has come a new freedom of expression. The Shah believes he has successfully crossed the divide between the old feudal Persia and the new developing state of emancipated Iranian people. And he's done it with a minimum of repression. The right to free speech is reflected in Iran's 22 daily newspapers, as well as its democratic elected government. It is, of course, largely controlled by the Shah, but what he does, he appears to do for the good of his people.
Ours is a policy of participation embracing all men and women. It is our national effort, our national resurrection, carried out within the framework of very advanced social laws, which sometimes go further than those of even, for instance, the Scandinavian countries. We are not too concerned about what others might think of the system. The results speak for themselves. I don't think you could be in this country for 5 years without becoming aware that all these things are being put into practice.
The Shah's mystical relationship with his 28 million subjects rests partly on their reverence for the peacock throne, and partly on practical things like this modern hospital in Tehran. For this is the social reform he promised them: an efficient health service, education, and a higher standard of living, are benefits they see coming directly from the Shah's hand. The Shah has given them these things, but above all he's made his people feel they really do matter, however insignificant they may be. And there is a feeling, call it national pride, that the new Iran is in good hands.